the Sesame Street of real estate.
It's already on.
Oh,
Yes,
cheeky.
guys, episode 888.
You got me good.
888
I was
episodes.
fixing my hair.
And Serbia is having a tough time in the World Cup as we speak.
Are they? Goodness.
And we're going to talk about today the
Sesame Street, as you heard while we were prepping, Sesame Street of real estate. Yes, Mike, I know what it is.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Oh dear. It's, it really is Friday frenzy. It's like if you guys saw what went on before we actually got on air on a Friday, because Friday apparently is our day off. Mark, is this correct?
Friday's a day off.
Apparently-
Casual days. You can see the caps on. Cash is on.
Apparently it's the day off. It
Recap
definitely,
for the week.
yeah, it doesn't
Get ready for Saturday.
look or feel like a day off, but that's all good. You know what? The truth is there's never a day off in real estate. Let's talk today, though, about the basics, guys. We're going to talk to you about the Sesame Street of real estate. So the real basics, things that we just take for granted that everybody else knows, but maybe you guys don't know. It's also Black Friday. There's lots of sales on today.
No idea what Black Friday means.
Yeah, every girl knows what that means, though. It means sales, girls. That's what it means. Discounts.
Isn't that what
on
like everyone does at
great
Christmas?
stuff. No, I think it's an American thing. I think it originally started off as like an American thing, and I don't know. The truth is, I actually don't know. I don't know what it is. All I know is it means there are great sales out there. And our daughter's just asked us for some money so she can go and buy some dresses. Yeah. Let's talk about the basics, Mark. What do you know?
I know that this week we are realising it's obviously it's pushing on to the Christmas the 25th. If you're going to buy a property, it's going to push you into next year. The market is looking really good. I reckon it's the best it's looked the whole year.
Wow.
And I reckon
Big call.
scarcity is contributing to that. So buyers have that emotion of let's do the business, let's buy.
Yeah.
And sellers are going, oh, should we not put it on? Wait till next year. Let's not put it on. So it's bringing scarcity into the market.
36 groups
really
I had on Saturday through a 2-bedroom apartment in DY, really good 2-bedroom apartment, but 36 groups.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday, I had 15 groups. And for those people that don't know, because we're going to talk about real estate basics today, when real estate talk in numbers like that you really don't give it, there's never a gauge. But guys, they are phenomenal numbers. They're reminiscent of a roaring hot market, those numbers. And it's what we've been saying for a couple of weeks now. It's that scarcity, isn't it?
Have we genuinely, wholeheartedly, fully reached the bottom of the market?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. And I think people know what's ahead now. It's more the uncertainty. So buyers out there know what's ahead. They know there's likely going to be another couple of interest rate rises. I mean, a really good friend of ours, Mark, is very high up in the banking sector.
Yep.
There's estimations that there might be another 2.25 increases, but I think people are sort of factoring that in now when they're going ahead and making offers. We've got offers on pretty much every single property we've got on the market at the moment.
Interesting.
It's just a matter of getting those deals together.
And I know I've always said it, it's an excellent time to upgrade.
It is.
It's an excellent time to upgrade because the mortgage you're taking on is going to be less than if you did the same transaction 1 year ago.
But we're going to talk today about basics, guys, and the things that we know that maybe you don't know. If you're watching out there, it's conversations we have all day, every day with people, and they go, I did not know that. So let's talk about putting an offer in on a property.
It's free.
And it doesn't commit you.
It is free.
It's free and doesn't commit you.
I'm always shocked at the lack of offers buyers are willing to make because if there's 10 properties and there's 50 buyers through, all the buyers that want to make an offer will make an offer on the one property that is the best value. Now that makes sense, but how do you know property 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way through to 10 isn't going to do a better deal if you don't ask?
Yeah.
So what we never, ever, ever see is buyers come through, have a look at 10 properties and make 10 offers. Never happens.
And
you could strike a bargain.
It doesn't
It's
commit
free.
you. So I reckon we spend 30 seconds on each one of these topics because there's tons of them. But, it does not commit you. You can throw an offer in on 10 properties on a Saturday and you're not committed to a single one of them.
You can have 29 seconds of the 30 seconds.
Here he goes. See, every Friday. Every Friday. It's like he pokes the bear.
Yeah.
All right, next one is, did you know that you can exchange on a property if the vendor agrees with a 0.25% deposit?
Cool off.
On a cooling off period.
It's pretty good.
Over to you, Mark, for the next 28 seconds.
You can get rid of the competition. Thank you, Lisa. You can get rid of the competition, lock them out for 5 days, and you do have to pay for the privilege, and that is that 0.25 that we're talking about. So $1 million, $2.5 grand, and you've knocked out the competition.
So 0.25%, 0.25% of the agreed purchase price is what you can put down, and you can whack it on a credit card. Once those contracts have exchanged, we call that under contract. The buyer is allowed to rescind. Believe it or not, during the cooling off period, you don't enter into exchanging contracts to, with the hope that you might rescind. But a buyer is not committed to the vendor. A vendor is, however, committed to the buyer.
Yeah, the seller can't pull out.
So, but you will lose that 0.25% deposit. Think of it like a lay-by in many ways.
Yeah.
And then you can go away and do your due diligence. Let's talk about what is a Section 66W.
That's no cooling off. You are locked in, balls and all.
Yeah. So Section 66W is very appealing to the vendor. It means that it's assumed that all of your due diligence has been done and your solicitor or conveyancer will issue what's called a Section 66W, which waivers that cooling off period. Very appealing to a vendor, FYI. Sometimes we'll see that, actually this could be the next one, Mark, the next basic stuff that we know. People think it's all about the dollars when they're putting offers forward. A huge part of the offer is not just about the money, although obviously that's an extremely appealing factor. It's about the conditions as well.
Absolutely. Yield.
Go on.
Yield on a property. We are seeing rental yields go ballistic.
Yeah.
How do you calculate a yield? You put the annual rent for the property that year over the purchase price, divided by the purchase price, times 100, and that gives you your rental return. So give you an idea, if you're borrowing all the money, for example, if you are borrowing money at 2% and your rental yield is 5%, that is profit. That is positively geared. But now the rates are starting to come up towards 4.8%, 4.6%, and the rental yields were hovering around 5%. Now it's going neck to neck, so it's not positive.
Yeah, they've really lifted because those rents have significantly come up.
So yeah, now those rents, I reckon those rents are going to start getting towards. We haven't seen like a 6 or 7% rental return on a property for
that's right.
over 10 years.
But Mark, I've got a really good one in Manly, North Manly. That property we're guiding 2.15, and that's going to get a rent of about $1,350 to $1,400 a week.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Shocking rent.
No, that's not shocking rent.
Shocking. 3%, 2%, 3% return.
Yeah, well, I know, but the days of, people walk in and still expect those rental yields to be sitting at 10% for resi. It just doesn't happen anymore.
No.
That's the good old days. Whether to use a broker or go through a bank. This is another one.
I love your maths.
I'm not great at maths. I'm not. You know what? I'm not bad at it. Obviously, I've got to use it all day, every day. But it's my. It's definitely not my forte.
Yeah.
It's not my forte.
I haven't seen 10% in 30 years.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you get old.
Yeah.
Mortgage broker. God, he's Seriously, brings out he's so nice. As soon as the camera turns off, he's so nice. And as soon as we get on here, he has a little jab. That's all right. It's all good. We're gonna have to rename this segment, I think.
Oh,
Called "Throw Lisa Under the Bus Friday."
No, but I do. In all seriousness, when it comes to those rental yields, guys, investors have been way out of the market. They cashed out. They didn't want to compete. They had interest rates put 1% above on them, above a owner occupier interest rate. Like, it's been a hard time for it. They had land tax smashed. So I think a lot of investors exited the market, and I think that's really pushed those rents up. So which is tough on tenants for affordability. So it's an interesting.
So guys, for those of you that have just tuned in, we're talking about the absolute basics of real estate, things that we know, that we talk about all day, every day, that you may not know. And it's really, these are conversations that we're having all day, every day with people. We assume they know, but they definitely, they don't, because we're doing this all day, every day.
101 real estate.
Real estate 101. Let's talk about days on market. That's another one.
Yes.
This is real estate jargon where agents go, oh, yeah, it's been on the market for X amount of days. That is pretty much from when we launched the property to where the property is currently at now. Days on market is so skewed at the moment. I had a buyer ask me the other day, and I said, it's not really relevant in this market.
I actually don't
it's
believe.
Not indicative.
I don't even believe
it's not indicative
I
of whether
they're on the market a lot longer than what they're reporting.
Yeah.
When I look across the market at all agents' listings, they reckon it's only changed by.
No, it hasn't. It's changed significantly.
Yeah, because it's gone.
Yeah.
They reckon the peak of the market, I read an average this morning, was 22. That was when the market was absolutely pumping. Days on market was 22. It's 33 now.
No, it's pushed out. It's pushed out more than that.
Rubbish.
And our days on market for our properties are actually relatively short in comparison.
Of course, at Novak.
And I know, I know how long some of these properties have been sitting on the market for, and they're great properties.
Yeah.
It's not indicative of whether a property is good or bad. It really isn't. It really isn't.
What about property management?
Yeah, let's get to that in just a second. I just want to talk about reports, strata reports and pest and building reports. These reports, guys, are pre-prepared. So most agents these days will have these reports pre-prepared for buyers through a third-party company.
$29.
Well, that's for the strata. Sometimes these pest and buildings can be as much as $99.
For a purchaser?
Yeah. But all the hard work's been done for you. All you've got to do is click a link and download the report.
Oh, I've got a good one. Don't buy them. Get an offer accepted first, if you can, because that's free. So
that's right.
I think there's some people that are strata report junkies. In the course of buying a property, they may buy 5 or 10. You're going to be burning hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and you haven't even bought those 5 or 10 properties. I recommend get your offer accepted first, then do your due diligence. Do you buy your strata report, buy your building inspection, talk to your lawyer who's going to charge you when you talk to them. So get the free stuff done first, get the offer in. But some people feel really uncomfortable about that.
And guys, if you've got any questions that you would like us to answer on the basics of real estate, just throw them in here now as well. The other thing is, I had a purchaser the other day who called me and said, I really want to get a building report done on an apartment that she's offered on. And I said to her, they're kind of a bit of a waste of money. Obviously, do whatever due diligence you'd like to do, but on a strata building, because what a lot of people don't realise is these pest and building reports on strata properties can only be done within the 4 walls of that apartment. No common areas, and they can't get through all the other apartments. So they're kind of a bit of a waste of money, unless you're just happy for them to be done, within the confines of that apartment, but they can't go into common areas, and obviously they can't get inside other people's properties.
I've got $1 million question.
Yep. Buy now or later.
This question is the question of the year for real estate, full stop. Amen. Like, this one it's powerful.
What's your answer?
I've never ever seen it in my career less about property and more about finance.
Yeah.
To answer that question. Question.
That's a really good
I've
answer.
never,
Yep.
ever. It's always been about the street, the location, even the interest rates, or it's, prices up, prices down,
Yeah.
suburbs. That's all gone out the window. And it just seems like the question on anyone and on everyone's lips is the eligibility to get a loan. And all the buyers that are out there, I'm surprised how much cash is out there, and I'm surprised how big the deposits are out there from people that are buying. So these guys that are out there at the moment are pretty heavy hitters. And that's given them the finance. So I did a segment with a broker the other day with Zach, the broker.
Yep.
$100,000, $100 or $102,000 income for a first home buyer to buy for $650.
Wow.
Like,
my God.
Now, what's that going to be if the rates go up anymore?
That's crazy.
Like,
I mean,
what's that gonna
we've got a
be?
24-year-old daughter who works, and
$102,000.
she works in a great career. She works in advertising, and I mean, what young kid is earning that kind of money?
Seriously,
That's just
right.
unbelievable
So,
when you break that
and then
down.
imagine if it's a house that you're buying, and imagine it's a
Yeah.
bigger unit that you're buying. So, buy now, buy later, guys.
Buy when you can get your finance.
If they're going to give you the
Yeah.
finance,
Yeah, I agree.
buy the bloody property.
Yeah, I
Don't
agree.
wait, because in 90 days you may
So-
tick over to being ineligible.
Yeah.
And I had that discussion with Billy, because Billy was going, he bought a year ago, and he's like, I know I sort of bought at the top of the market, but I'm way off getting a loan
Well,
now
that's it.
for the same property.
Yeah.
That's your answer, guys.
And so it
That's your
scares us,
answer.
when these buyers come through, these open homes, and they go, we're just going to wait and see what the market does. It's like, be really careful. This is not the real estate spiel where, we're forcing you to sell in a market, to buy in this style of market.
Yeah.
Even though I do believe we are right at the bottom of the market now. This is, as Mark said, a financing thing. Without a doubt, this is a financing thing.
Real estate. It's not real estate. It's brokering. It's finance.
Yeah.
It's getting the loan. That's what this market's about.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you really feel that I hassle you on Fridays?
Yeah, but that's all right. I don't mind. Doesn't bother me. I don't mind. All right. What else, Mark? You want to talk about rental stuff quickly? Real estate 101 in rentals. Let's do it.
Rentals is the one market over the last 10 years that's more unchanged than any other market in real estate. So, and let me explain that. You've got commercial sales, commercial rentals. You've got residential. You got also interest rates do come into that whole thing. But I have never seen, like, it's just been a flat line of a market for residential rentals.
Yeah.
It's time, and building is getting expensive. So to pump more new rental properties into the grid is getting to virtually impossible now. It's just so expensive for builders to build.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and there's not that many investors around. In the market at the moment, I'll be honest, there's a lot of first home buyers, and there seems to be a lot of people at that prestige level, but we're not seeing a huge amount of investors around. They're there, just not in abundance.
Yeah.
Which means that for us on the beaches, it's unlikely then that we're going to be seeing more and more rentals coming on the market if the investors aren't buying. The investors aren't buying.
I had a great conversation yesterday with a buyer. We're 18 minutes. Where to go?
Yeah. And this isn't real estate 101 either. We're talking about the basics of real estate.
Yeah.
Mark's just gone off on a different tangent.
But it is Friday Frenzy. We talk about what happened during the week.
We do.
And I had a conversation with him about superannuation, buying in superannuation. He said, should I buy a storage unit? I've got a little bit of money. Should I leverage it a little bit? Guys, do not forget that when you're looking at superannuation and lending in your super, these are crazy rates. So an example, you and your wife have 200 grand in your super. You want to borrow 200 grand to buy something for 400 grand, 300, 500 grand, whatever you're going to buy.
Yeah.
You're paying a 9% interest rate now.
That's crazy.
Your super is paying like an 8 or 9% interest rate now.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So I told him that. He said, I haven't even gone that far. But the superannuation loans are unsecured loans. They charge a higher interest rate, a significantly higher
Yeah,
interest
that's
rate.
nuts.
So just be careful on that, because you could be chasing that rental return, and everyone goes nanas over a 4% or a 5% return, or a 5 to a 6, but you're going to erode 3 or 4% more interest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's nuts.
It is.
It's nuts. So be careful, guys.
And just to wrap up, guys, I just want to say it's been a heavy listing week this week. Heavy listing week, end of November. Unusual. Mark went to the gym this morning. That's your heavy lifting. Unusual for this time of the year, end of November, 4 weeks to Christmas, thereabouts. Very unusual to be listing this much stock. Again, if you rewind 3 months back, you'll see exactly what we've been saying. So the crystal ball prediction was that spring selling season was going to push out over to the Christmas and New Year period, and that's exactly what seems to be happening. Some great stock out there. Can I just talk really quickly about a couple of really good properties?
No.
Okay, I won't. Follow my socials if you want to see them then. There's a house in Wheeler Heights with a guide of 1.9 mil, guys. Really good family home. Absolutely must be sold, and it does have water views. That's it.
Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
You're pretty excited about that property.
It's a great, beautiful home. It hasn't been on the market for over 50 years. So I love that sort of tightly held stock.
Does anyone care?
I think they do, yeah.
When someone says, "Oh, like 50 hasn't been sold for 50
Yeah.
years," do people genuinely really?
Yeah,
Aren't
they
there like
do.
lots of houses
They do.
you can buy anyway?
People want to know that they're buying something that's been, it's someone else's beautiful family home for that long. I do think,
So it's the memory thing, the memories, or the original, or the fact that it's an original home.
Someone loved that home for that long. It must be a great home. I think there's the reassurance there. I guess
it's a bit like marriage.
Yeah. If you're getting divorced every couple of years as opposed to being married for 50.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's just like owning a home for 50 years and selling it.
Well, no one wants to see a property that's changed hands every couple of years. You sold one of those, Mark, the haunted house.
Yeah, I sold the house and.
Well, they're the rumours.
Nah. Well, after I sold the house, the owners go, "Ooh," and I was like, what? And they were really cool owners. And I go, "What?" And they go, "Ooh." They go, "Downstairs there's a ghost."
And these are the most normal people.
And these are not ghost people. They were cool cats. And I was like, and they go, and then they told me stories, and they go, "Have a look how many times the place is sold." And then I went on RP data, and literally over the last 23 years, the property sold like 18 times to different people every time. I was like, that's like,
But that's what I'm saying. So 100%. The flip side is because, that data is available to everyone. So, the buyers do know, and they will come in and go, "Why has it transacted so many times? Why did it sell 2 years ago and then 5 years?" So I guess when people know something's been tightly held for 50 years, we don't see that often, right?
It's not a dud.
That is a beautiful property, Wheeler Heights, and also a 2-bedder that I've just listed right down near DY Beachfront, Baronia Street. Amazing location. That one's about to launch to realestate.com next week as well. Lots and lots of stock coming on. That's it. That's a massive show, Mark.